Isn't that why you make party music for everyone else to party? Isn't that the point?
Exactly. I'm home making the party music.
That's why I DJ, because I didn't want to go and dance. I wanted to give everyone else dancing.
Exactly.
It was my social anxiety play.
When Sweet 16s came around and everybody was turning 16.
Dreading it.
Oh my God. I would be outside like my stomach hurt. I can't go.
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to talk to you. It's rare in you know, life that an artist gets to connect with something and it moves as fast as it's moved, you know, for you. And I think we get obsessed with the time of that. Like, oh, it's happened so fast.
Yeah.
And we forget actually that the time it took to make the music and the environment in which the music was made. When I listen to this project and I hear what's come out, it just sounds like you and Riot were having fun.
We was, like, genuinely.
Straight
All the
fun.
records, I feel like just fun, just vibes.
What's the environment like when you were creating this? Because, you know, you met in college, you're coming out of that experience, and you found this great chemistry, creative vibe between the two of you. I mean, is it in the dorm room? Is it in a studio? Like, because it just sounds so free to me, this music.
You know what's so funny? The other day we was just talking about how we was in like our friend's dorm, who's also a producer. And like, I remember saying, oh, like he Riot had asked me, oh, so like, what's your rap name gonna be, like your stage name? And I'm like, I don't know if it should be like my Finsta name or if I should just go by Isis. Like, I really wanted it to be Isis, right?
Because Isis is sick, by the way.
Thank you. And he was like, it can't be Isis.
Thank you. Thank the parents, right? Thank the parents. They called you Isis. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Well, Isis is an Egyptian goddess.
Yep.
So, but you know.
There are other connotations. Yeah.
Like, we was just in college. Everybody was just like creating things. And it was just, everything just happened naturally, you know?
I think back to those times, what it must have been like for you. And then to look back on that, it must seem like a lifetime ago. But it really wasn't that long ago.
No, and like, it doesn't feel that long ago either. Like, I very much still feel like a girl from Fordham, like, just like, you know, I can vividly remember I remember everything, like, and everything's still the same because it wasn't that long ago. What
was it like when you were in college and you were just meeting all these great creative people? Because it sounds like, you know, you found yourself in an extended education environment that was very creative. There was a lot of people who were moving, doing different things. And I guess that's a really safe place for you to experiment and not feel self-conscious.
Yeah, I did feel that way. Like, when I left high school, I was like, okay, now I'm going to college. I could like just rebrand completely and be like a brand new person and like
new identity, the whole thing.
Yeah, and I just did that, honestly. I feel like I did a whole 180 and I just like really found myself and I took time to be like, who am I, you know?
Is that kind of when Ice Spice really, the identity really like presented itself?
I feel like that's when like it fully made sense because I was already Ice Spice since 2014.
Yeah.
And I never really like thought much about it. Like, it was just my handle. And yeah, in college, I was like, I'm Ice Spice, period.
Yeah, I love it. And, you know, I can hear it too. I can hear the commitment to this art.
Yeah.
You know, when music comes out quick, we have an inclination as a species to want to doubt it. Like, why does it happen so fast? Where'd it come from? What's going on? This is super quick. I can't get my head around it, as in people. And we forget to actually listen to the music. I think what people are really getting now is they're listening to the music away from that hype. And they're realizing the music is sick.
Well, the hype wouldn't be there without the music, you know, because like, genuinely, Munch is a hit, and I love that for me.
I love that for you as well.
Like, I love it. Wasn't just
I love that for him. I love that for him. I love that for the whole team.
For all of us.
Yeah.
You know? So I just love being able to contribute to culture and actually like add, you know, because I feel like a lot of people think that, oh, I'm just like this like pretty girl that like posts on Instagram, but there's like millions of pretty girls that post on Instagram, and like, you know, you have to really contribute to the culture in order to like matter.
I'm going to put us into the royal we. I'm going to do it out of the kindness of my heart because I don't really consider myself to be part of the people who got it wrong. I heard the music straight away and was like, I get it. But for the sake of not separating myself, we got it really wrong. I really think we did, because I'm looking at this stuff in red here, what you don't want to talk about. And in my lifetime, no, it's good. It's good. This is good. The era of no is really good. You got to know when to say, no, I don't want to discuss that anymore.
Yeah.
But I've just never seen it happen so fast, where someone after like a year of releasing music is already saying, you blew that one, you exhausted that, you got it wrong on that, I'm done talking about that. Did you feel that way? Did it get to a point where you're like, Man, I'm sick of sort of having to try to justify things when people aren't actually getting what the point here is.
Yeah, I'm not like big on explaining myself publicly because I don't really care like what people are assuming and stuff like that. So for me, I just don't want to keep explaining certain things because I'm like, I don't care what people think.
Yeah.
So why would I even explain myself, you know?
Yeah, it also removes the possibility of building a really healthy creative wall of mystery.
Oh, thank you.
You know, a chance for you to be able to work in private.
Yeah.
Right? Because everybody gets to know everything about you. It's harder to separate yourself from work in private.
Yeah, exactly. Especially like when every time you step outside, people are constantly like watching or like filming or whatever. So it's like I like to keep things as private as I can when I can.
Has that been a really noticeable shift for you? I'd imagine that in certain parts of the world at certain times in the day, you're no longer ISIS.
No, I always try to stay, I got my ISIS ring on. I always try to stay grounded and like remember who I am. Because like, I still feel true to myself, you know. It hasn't been that long, so I still very much feel like myself. Let's talk again in like 5 years.
No. I don't think that's going to change. And I want to reframe that question because I don't for one second, having just spent 10 minutes in your company, think that you are ever going to forget where you came from or who you are. I think you have a really good grip on all of this. I mean the way people treat you. That you become Ice Spice, that they want to take photos, that all of a sudden to some degree it belongs to other people. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, sometimes I do feel like a product and I really hate when I feel that way. Because like a lot of people, like, let's say they'll gift me something and then I'm like, oh, it's a gift, cute. And then they'll be like, oh, can I take a picture of you holding the gift?
It's a trade.
And it's now an ad. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a weird industry.
Yeah. But no, I appreciate like free gifts. I'm not gonna lie. Like I love all that. I love everything that comes with it. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I hate fame because at the end of the day, like it opened doors for me. It allowed me to like help my family and help myself and like changing my lifestyle for the better. So regardless, I'm grateful. You know what I mean?
Was it ever something you aspired to as a kid? Did you feel drawn to the idea of attention as a currency or fame?
Genuinely, I think so. Like I feel like I feel like a lot of kids are like, I'm gonna be famous.
It's so true. You know? I think you come out and you immediately gravitate to music because all babies do. You're like, what is this? Exactly. I like this. Nursery rhymes, let's go. And then it's a really short distance between that and wow, I made my parents really happy by dancing.
Yeah.
Right? And that's kind of, I think, where the bug either sets in or it doesn't. Was that for you? Were you like, I like to make people happy by expressing myself, even as a kid?
Yeah, I feel like I was always trying to entertain. I do remember like as a kid, like constantly coming up with like dances with my cousins, or like we would always try to put on a show for the family. Like we would be like, okay guys, look what we made. And then we would start like dancing and singing and stuff like that. We'd always have talent shows. And just like express ourselves. I do like entertaining. I always like, I never really thought about it as like, oh, I'm entertaining. But when I look back at my life and like the things I've done, I'm like, I'm naturally an entertainer, you know? What
about with your siblings and stuff? Because I know you're the eldest in your family. And so there's naturally a desire to look up to the eldest sibling. You know, how was that relationship growing up? And did you sort of feel to some degree, even now that you're starting to succeed in your life, there's that responsibility of making sure that you set a right example, right, for your siblings?
Yeah, I always felt like I needed to set the right example. Like for my siblings especially, because I was always told that, like growing up, it's always like, oh, like you need to behave better because your sister's watching you, and especially the eldest daughter. Like all the eldest daughters know exactly what I'm talking about.
I can't even imagine. Yeah, for sure.
I wish I had an older sister so bad.
Yeah, but being the eldest, there's something really great about you know, setting a bar not just for yourself but for others as well, right?
I'm very grateful that I have so many siblings and stuff like that, because I feel like I learned a lot of things at home that like apply to real life now, you know? And I feel like, I guess them looking up to me is kind of like a reflection of like now so many people looking up to me, like you said, and it did really prep me.
How does that relationship sort of evolve over time? Like, do you have one sibling in particular that you know you can call when you just need to be reminded about, you know, where you came from? Because, you know, you've done 6 different flights and you're in 6 different countries and
Yes.
you're talking to strange people like me.
And I have cousins and stuff that are like my age, and like I have so many cousins and siblings, and I feel like they all like they're great to talk to and stuff like that. They remind me of like everything. My sisters miss me so bad. We was just getting into it because it's like it do be hard to like maintain a relationship with somebody you grew up with and then try to like travel the whole world and like please so many other people, and it's like you still got to pay attention to them. So it's a lot, you know, but I'm trying to deal with it. Yeah. Shout out my sisters. I miss them.
I mean, I know all about it. I mean, I left my home country when I was much younger, and I think that it is There's no other way to put it. And I don't mean to scare you or whatever, but ultimately following your dreams, there is sacrifice that comes with that.
Yeah.
And I think the family thing is the ultimate sacrifice when you leave the people behind that you love. And you just don't, they're always going to be there, but you just don't get all that time.
And it's sad because they'll blame you like, and they'll be like, oh, we're distant now or whatever. And it's like, I don't mean to be. It's just like, I can't be in another country and also be as close to you as I was when we was 5.
Yeah.
Or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah. Be still, it's all love. At the end of the day, I appreciate that they even miss me, you know, because some people's siblings don't care about them.
I know, it breaks my heart. Well, the thing is, that's why you're working so hard now, I guess, because eventually it's going to get to a point where the success dictates your decision and whether you get to say yes or no. And that's when you get to reset the balance. At least that's what I've seen with great artists. The longer you stick at it, the more successful you become. Then you're able to say, this is family time.
Exactly. I've been working all year. Like, I need a little month off or something like that soon.
But not today, because we got you working. Sorry. It's Apple Music up next. I should probably remind people why we're having a conversation. I'm no good at that. But this is Apple Music up next. And, you know, it feels kind of crazy to call you up next because you're so now. I mean, it's happening right now. So we're really grateful for the fact that, you know, you've decided to collaborate with Apple and appreciate the program, even at a point when you're saying no to things.
Of course, I appreciate Apple, you know, like Apple showed me love real early on.
Well, we hear it, and, you know, we're a place where artists get to come and ultimately, I think, sort of stretch out and tell their story, and that's what we want to try and get to today. Just getting back to a little bit to the process of making music, because I'm a super, like, obsessive music nerd. How do you kind of work with Riot? I mean, I know he's over there, but how do you work with Riot? Because you two obviously have such a great working relationship. You could have, no disrespect, gotten a hit, done what other people have done, bounced out, created a list of producers who are waiting for the phone call. Here's the really good news, right? They're still waiting for the phone call. And long may they wait as far as I'm concerned, because it really works. The two of you, it really works. So how does it work?
Just naturally, you know, it's so hard to explain because like everybody's always like, how does it work? How does it work? But I can't really explain it, you know? It's just like, it just works. Like sometimes you meet a great collaborator and you just do great things, you know?
Yeah. When you listen back to your music in progress, when you're working on something in the studio and you're both feeling it, you know you're going to see it through and finish it. How does that feel? Can you try and put that into some words?
It feels amazing. Like right now I have this song that I really, really, really love. And I just told my fans about it on Twitter Spaces. It's so fire. Like it's for the streets, it's for the baddies, it's for the Uras, it's for everybody. And it just really gives me that vibe. Like we've been listening to it in the car and stuff. It's not even mixed yet, but it's, you know, a song is fire when it's not mixed and it's slapping.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you got to be careful with that because you know what I'm talking about. You get this thing called demoitis where the mix never lives up.
Yes, yeah.
I can imagine that listening to the way that you write and perform your songs and work with Riot, that you don't let it go. Some artists do their verse, I've been in the room, and then they bounce out. It's like, you do it. You do the music. I don't care, whatever. Something tells me that you really love being in the whole experience and making sure that it sounds and feels right to you. Am I right? Yeah,
I have to be. Because it's like, at the end of the day, I am like, it's my music, you know? I want to make sure it sounds how I want it to sound. And like, it's fun. Like, I love being a part of it. I'm not like rushing to leave.
Yeah, the studio's the best part, isn't it? In a way?
In a way. Because I don't really like going to studios like that.
Right.
I like recording in my own personal space. Like, I have a studio at home and stuff. So, yeah, but I like taking my time because I don't like to just hurry up and rush it. Like, I like to just feel the vibe, you know what I'm saying, lay it down. And then it's like, if I want to take a break, I will just take a break and come back to it if I need to.
I think we should remind people who are listening to this or watching this that from your perspective that like is a bunch of songs that have been around for a while. Like, it's not like, do you know what I mean? Like, these are some songs that you already had waiting to go and you continually working through. So you were loyal to some of these songs. Like, how old is, like, what's the oldest song on this project?
Munch was recorded January 2022.
2022, right. So, I mean, that's well over a year old. And so, you know, you were really, you honored that process and put that out. How do you feel about sort of that project now that you're already much further down the road and we haven't heard where you're at?
I love this project, and I also feel like a lot of people are thinking that it's like so old because of like how much success I've had since it dropped.
Yeah.
But it's only 6 months old.
That's crazy.
So it is a new project still.
Yeah, it still is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I love like the deluxe is coming soon, and I'm really excited for that.
Ooh.
The song that I just gassed up is going to be on there.
It's going to be on there.
Sure.
How many other songs, you know?
I have 3 right now that I'm like, okay, I really like these 3 and I want to put them out. I'm trying to like squeeze in a 4th one, but we'll see. If not, it's going to be 3.
Yeah, I love the idea of a deluxe because, again, it just continues to feed on a project that you're not sick of yet and we're not sick of yet, so it keeps it alive.
And I'm like, I love this vibe. I just want to put a little more into it, you know?
Yeah. So what is this vibe to you? How would you describe what Like's going to be versus where you're going to go next or where you go in the future? Like, are you any closer to understanding what this sort of project feels like to you?
Like, it just feels very like home to me. It feels very much like a Bronx story and like just a baddie from the Bronx just telling her truth, you know, and just vibing, feeling herself. And that's what the album's gonna sound like too. Like, I just know the album's gonna have a lot of elements of like, and of course some evolution in there, but it's gonna very much be me still.
You know, there's a lot of people listening and watching all around the world because we're in well over 100 countries, and so this really is a global kind of thing. Up Next is a global thing that won't understand what it's like growing up in the Bronx, let alone the level of importance and influence Bronx had on the invention of not just hip hop, multiple musical genres, incredible jazz legends, soul, funk, R&B legends. You know, but hip hop in particular from my generation, I mean, it was like, you know, the key borough. It was one or two that fought over it for a long time. And so what was it like kind of growing up in the Bronx? And what is a sort of, what is a childhood in the Bronx like?
A childhood in the Bronx, I'm not going to lie, is like, it's fun. For me, like, that's how my childhood was. I know a lot of people in the Bronx have different experiences, especially depending on what part of the Bronx you from.
Yeah.
But I had a fun childhood. I mean, I only know it from my perspective. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to compare it to other people, but...
Big music place. You feel the music in the streets.
Place. Like, yeah, when you're walking on Fordham, stores is playing music to try to get you to come in.
Yeah.
Like, the stores will have the music playing and, like, on a speaker outside.
And you're like, come on.
Exactly.
Yeah, I always say that when a song hits, and you'll know this now because you've had one, when a song hits in New York, it's like no other place in the world because it's the inside going out. Mm-hmm. If you have a song that hits in LA, it's being played in cars or at home or in your headphones. It's kind of insular. In New York, to your point, every car that drives past is playing it loudly.
Right.
People are listening to it on the stoop. People are listening to it in the store.
Yeah.
And when you have that magic moment where everyone's listening to it, like, what did that feel like for you when you were walking around your home city and you heard your song being played somewhere unexpected for the first time, though? Do you remember where it happened?
No, I don't remember exactly where. I'm not gonna lie, but I still feel really excited. Like, when I'm outside and I hear my music playing, like just random people walking by or whatever, I still get excited like the first time, because that's just so crazy to me, you know? Like, I expect to see it like online and on streaming and like seeing people enjoy it at home on TikTok, whatever. But like when you see people outside doing it, is different. It's like, it makes it real. Man,
you've had a real crash course in this weird music industry. You know, when you're sitting in this, you know, at home making music with Riot or a couple of other people, you probably had no idea what you were going to experience when you came out into it. Putting all the niceties aside, because I know how grateful you are to get your music out in front of people and, like you said, have positive impact for your family and for your life. That's passion. Like, that's you deserve that for making great shit.
You.
But how has the overall experience been in the artificial construct of the music business for you, Ice Spice the artist, so far?
It's been cool. Like, I'm still pretty new and I don't go out a lot. Like, I don't go to parties a lot or whatever. That's just because, like, I don't really like want to. I be tired after working and everything. I don't be really wanting to party, and I was never really a big party person.
Isn't that why you make party music for everyone else to party? Isn't that the point?
I'm home making the party music.
That's why I DJ, because I didn't want to go and dance. I wanted to give everyone else dancing.
Exactly.
It was my social anxiety play.
I feel that. Oh my God, I would get the craziest anxiety going into parties. Like, I remember when Sweet 16s came around and everybody was turning 16.
Dreading it.
Oh my God, I would be outside like my stomach hurt. I can't go.
Same. I had a friend who had a party the other day and I was still trying to make excuses internally, but 5 minutes before I got in the car.
Oh my God.
My wife was like, will you please just get in the car? Don't worry about it, you know?
I suck so bad because I'd be missing people's birthday. And it's like, I love you, but I I can't go.
They must know you though. I mean, the people who love you know, they know what you go through. So it's an interesting job that you have for someone who struggles with social anxiety like I do.
Exactly. So, but no, I push through it and stuff. Sometimes I be having my days, but for the most part, I try my best to push through it, and I like remind myself positive things or whatever all the time. But being in the music industry is fun. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's a little ghetto, but it's fun. Like, especially you notice, especially like behind the scenes and everything, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you really gotta like just
Has it surprised you though how many people have kind of
I'm from the Bronx, so like a lot of people, like, I'm real classy and I'm pretty and da da da, but like I'm from Fordham, bro. Like, I took the 4 train every day to school, like, you know what I'm saying? Took the 12 bus every day, the 1 train. Like, I do this. Like, it's not, I'm real cute, but it's like I see shit. Like,
you can be both.
Thank you, because a lot of people don't think that. A lot of people think that if you're from the Bronx, you got to be one specific type of way. But it's like, there's so many people in the Bronx, so many cultures. Be yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people think because I'm from the Bronx, I got to act like different or like, or like I'm being fake classy or I'm being whatever. And it's like, I don't even consider myself classy. I just think I'm to myself.
And also, you know, such a strong image when you came out, which is smart. I mean, why would you come out and not present a strong image? Like, it's like, I mean, that's the play.
Go big or go home.
Go big or go home, right?
Like,
I mean, that's expected. And yet everybody, I think, it's so obsessed. This is what I was referring to in the beginning when I said that I think we all got it very wrong, right? And for you, you must have been kind of laughing quietly to yourself while everybody's making these assumptions in the first 6 months.
I mean, all the time. Still, even to this day, people be saying crazy shit. And I just be like, anyways, next, like...
Yeah. Even down to a song like Munch, which I'm just going to put myself on the line and say, I mean, how could some people get that so fucking wrong? Like, they think that you're opening up the lines of conversation to discuss sexuality when you're actually taking control of your sexuality and saying, I'm not here to talk about it with you. That's what this song represents. It's like, it's yours, right? Mm-hmm. It's kind of crazy to me that I feel that, you know, we still get swept up and hyped that way, even in 2023. I love the fact that you're sitting on the knowledge that you don't give a shit, though.
I literally don't give a shit. I'm a Capricorn, so...
What does that mean?
We don't give a shit. Yeah.
Can you give me a few more like, why are you a atypical Capricorn?
I'm a workaholic.
Yeah.
And like, I be working on my birthday. I feel like that's some Capricorn shit to do. Like, I work on Christmas. You know what I'm saying? That's like I remember being like on Thanksgiving working.
Yeah, yeah. How do your family feel about that? Do they ever try to slow you down?
No, because they get it. Like, you gotta hustle. Where I'm from, it's like the whole point is to make it out. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta work. Like, imagine, no, I'm gonna just stay home on my birthday when I got money to make. Like, why? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what's the end result then? If there's is the work the point, or do you have like a point on the timeline further down the line in mind where you're like, okay, there's an achievement I need to reach?
Well, I would love financial freedom. You know, I feel like everybody would.
That.
So
100%.
Like, of course, we're human beings. My goal in life is to just sit on an island and, you know, drink fruity drinks. But
isn't the journey the point in a way? Like, isn't the idea of sitting on an island and drinking fruity drinks just kind of, I don't know, isn't the point to just keep going and having fun with it?
Yeah, just because it never seemed like that was a possibility growing up like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never thought it would, like, I always dreamed of it, right? Or I've always dreamt of it, but I never thought it was like gonna happen. Like, especially like so young. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like crazy to me. But
when you dreamt of it, did you feel it? Was it vivid to you when you were dreaming of like success and what you thought you could achieve with your life?
Well, I had to make it vivid. I had to like really convince myself that it would happen. And like, I would constantly remind myself, like, it's gonna happen. Like, if it could happen for other people, it's gonna happen for me. Like, and just keep going and going and going. And like, I'm super into like just speaking it into the world.
Manifestation. You're mastering manifestation.
Yeah, but you know what's funny? I learned about that when I was like 11.
Wow.
So I know it's super trendy and cool now, and like people are over the word manifestation. But
are they? They're not manifesting.
Yeah, no. But yeah, I'm super into that, and like, I'm real spiritual and I believe in God and all that, and I just pray all the time, and like, yeah, it works.
So who taught you about manifestation? Who was smart
enough
to do it?
My mom. Wow. She put me onto The Secret. It's like this documentary or whatever.
I've read The Secret. Yeah, I love The Secret. Everyone wanted to talk down to The Secret. The Secret works.
For a while. Yeah, it works.
It works.
It's proof it works.
Yeah. The trick about The Secret is that it's work.
Yeah.
Everybody goes, oh, manifestation, let me just dream up a car. It doesn't work like that. You got to like practice every day, which is really just another form of prayer, isn't it? In a strange way.
Yeah, I associate them very closely. Like the universe and God and everything, like it's very intertwined for me.
Let's talk about the idea of manifestation into personal relationships, because I'm fascinated by that, in particular in the arts and in the performance industry. People can be obsessed with people. They inspire them. They create something inside of them that makes them feel like anything is possible. For you, that's Nicki Minaj. And then there you are together working on stuff.
I know.
That must be a moment for you as someone who recognizes manifestation, doesn't just look at it as curious luck, as a moment where you go, it works.
Mm-hmm. It does work. And you know, that's why it's so crazy. So when I met Nicki, right, for the first time in person, I was like at her studio and she was like doing her glam and stuff. And
Were you nervous?
I was nervous.
Yeah,
but I was like chilling. I was like nervous to get there. Once I got there, I was like, okay, I'm chilling. But then I heard her like say something and then I got nervous. And then she came out, right? Yeah. And I was fine. But she came out and she looked at like my manager, James, and like Riot and stuff, and my photographer and everything. And then she came at me. And when she came to me and she hugged me, I started crying because it just felt like I cried, but I walked away. Like I didn't say anything to her. I was just like, and I just walked away because I was just like, bro, like just the journey. Like, you know, I love Nicki and like meeting her was great and everything. But for me, it also just mostly felt like this is a full circle moment. Right. Like, this is crazy. Right. Like, I'm really here. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yes, like, little me is screaming.
That kid who listened to music and felt that music and made you realize anything was possible, you reached one of your destinations.
Yes. And it felt like such an accomplishment meeting her, like in a way, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because of course, so many girls look up to her and want to do that, but it's just like, for you to do it, it's just crazy.
Yeah, but you felt it in a moment and turned it into something tangible. I keep saying this story, but there's a great story that someone told me about an artist who walked into a room and an artist they admired was playing their music as they walked into the room.
That's crazy.
And the way they described it was that that person heard. Okay, so I'll put it in your context. Nicki Minaj hears in you and sees in you herself, which is why she's drawn to you, because you reflect the best qualities of herself back at her because you were that fan who felt it absorbed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. I feel like in a way, yeah, that is true. Because since I'm so inspired by her and like so many other girls are and boys too, like when you grow up listening to somebody and like looking up to them and like practically studying them. Like if I'm going home every day after school watching music videos and I'm watching mad Nicki videos and mad like whatever, you know what I'm saying? Yes. So you pick up on mannerisms and like without even realizing it, and then one day you're an adult and like you act just like the person you grew up watching.
Yeah, exactly, but in your own way, in a unique and individual way.
Of course.
So there's elements that just draw you together, and next thing you know, she's standing in front of you going, "Oh, facts," and doing those amazing things that she does.
Yeah, I love her. Shout out Nicki.
Oh, she's the best. Queen. She's the best. And you got her in a British bag as well on your song, which is rare. She came out. She gives out, like, hello, darling. She's awesome at that. Mm-hmm. How's that friendship evolved now? Because it's gone like one feature's fine, multiples, and then experiences, and it's clear that there's a kinship between the two of you, a friendship between the two of you that's developing. You know, how does that change the whole experience for you? Are you absorbing her advice? Is it a different experience now?
I feel like I am like absorbing advice from her and like learning from her and stuff. And she'll tell me like, you know, learn from my mistake, like, you know, do this or like don't do that or whatever. And I just really pay attention to what she's saying, because if there's anyone I'm gonna listen to, it's the queen. Yeah,
I mean, you need mentors in this space,
exactly.
Right? Yeah. Is anybody else that you've kind of adopted as a mentor that you listen to that you really admire?
I would say Drake. Yeah. We talk all the time, and like we're always like just laughing about some things that like go on, and like I'll ask him, what should I do with this, or like how'd you go about this, or like did you ever experience that? And like I'm not gonna give real examples, but
of course not.
He'll
that's between you two.
Yeah. And he'll tell me like, I did this and like you should do that too because you can.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, you're right. Like
period. I feel like he gives great mentor energy.
Yeah, no, he really does. It's like coach vibes.
Yeah, because also he came from a place where he was again with the we, which fucking is painful for me because I love Drake from Dot, but the we got it wrong with him for a long time. I feel like everyone was ready for him to fall.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that's the case still though. I feel like all like the biggest artists and like not only artist, actress, and just anybody in any industry. I feel like when you're like huge, and people just gonna want you to fall. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But even for someone like yourself who self-admittedly doesn't give a shit, how do you process the inevitability of that? Because I want you to keep making music as a fan of your music. And I think if you do, you're going to end up in those same places in your own way that they are. So in a way, you're on it, like it's in motion that that's going to happen to you as well. Does it, the success, but also the scrutiny and all that shit that comes with it, the weirdness of being a standout in a world full of the same species. Do you think about that, or you just try to forget about it?
That's such a funny way to put it.
We're just the strangest species.
Right. No, I mean, like, back to the I don't give a shit part.
Yeah.
It's like that still, you know? Like, I know, and also the hate never went away. I just think that there's so much love coming in now that it kind of like overshadows the hate.
Oh, I love that.
But it's just like, it's still there. Like the people that was hating, like they're very much there.
Well, can I ask you this then? What really ultimately helped you build this armor of I don't give a shit? Like I was bullied really badly at school for a period of time. And it took me a long time to build the armor up where I could get through it. And when I did, I felt like way more equipped for the planet with the species. You know, what was it for you that kind of gave you this desire or this ability to be able to just shut it down?
It's like such a mixture of so many things. I would say it's like being from the Bronx, having strong-minded parents in general. Both of my parents are very strong-minded and they're very confident people. And I feel like that rubs off on me. And also just being so protective because I have so many younger siblings that I am very protective. So I always been the type that I'm like, I can't take shit because they can't take shit. You know what I'm saying? So like when me and all my sisters was in school, I remember they would like talk about, oh, this girl's bullying me or this girl's bothering me. And I'm like, fuck that bitch. Like, smack that bitch. Like, I would tell her, like, tell that bitch she ugly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, give it back to her. Double it and send it back. Like, you know? So I had to always stand my ground because I had to set the example, like, stand your fucking ground. You know?
You having fun? I'm having a great time talking with you.
I am. You're so fun to talk to. Am I not?
Same. When I was hanging out a few months back in my house, it was becoming this like proper problem that at least once, twice, 3 times a day, one of my family, my wife or our 2 kids, would walk around going, "That boy's a liar. That boy's a liar," like just nonstop in the ear. Like in the end, it was like we need to just do like an amnesty on that song for 24 hours because we couldn't shake it. None of us could shake it.
I play that song every day.
It's so catchy and so sick, and I feel like you and Pink Panther S, again, like I think it says something to your ability to collaborate. I feel like you're a really generous collaborator because you fit so well into that experience with her. How was that moment?
It was so fun. I recorded it on my birthday, actually.
Really?
The verse, yeah.
Sick.
And I sent it back to her, and
that's some Capricorn shit, by the way.
Yeah, it really is.
That's some Capricorn shit. That's the workaholic at play.
Exactly. And so it was so fun, so easy. When I sent it to her, she didn't have anything to say. Like, she was like, I love it. Like, it's perfect. We're ready to go. And I'm like, bet. So I'm not going to lie. That was the easiest collaboration I've ever had. I
got to talk to you about someone who I've met and spoken with many times and who I admire greatly as one of the greatest songwriters of this generation or any, and that's Taylor. I thought that the fact that she worked with you was just another classic and inspired example of her just knowing what works. What works for her, what would work for you. She's just very dialed in beyond just the writing and everything else. She's very across it. Where were you when you got the call for that? Like, how did that information present itself? Because that is rare.
I was home and my manager called me and was like, oh, like Taylor wants you on a record. And I'm like, Taylor.
Hold up. Your manager's over there, so I got to ask you for 1 second. When you got that information and you're making that phone call, what were you thinking, bro?
He texted me, oh, call me, like I have to tell you something or whatever. And like he usually would just text me anything, like right? Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So, and I was having a really bad day also. I would like to say that. I was having a terrible day. I was crying all morning because I was just so mad at something.
Yeah.
And then he called me with that news. And then I cried more because it was good news.
You're like, this roller coaster of a life, I can't keep up.
That's what I said. I was like, my life is a roller coaster. Like how I started the day crying and I'm ending it crying, but for different reasons.
Yeah. And then to go out there and to present it to the people. And again, this idea of this feature mentality of like your audience meets my audience and we can all get paid. I get it. It's cool. It's a great hustle, right? It's a great hustle and it makes for great music for fans. But what's awesome about that is that when you and Taylor presented it, you presented it together. How was that experience sort of, it's one thing to jump on a song, it's another thing to find a way to work together.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was amazing. Like we went to the studio and she's so humble and so nice. Like I kid you not, I pulled up to the studio and she outside waiting for me. I'm like, why is Taylor Swift outside? That's awesome. Like, Taylor, what are you doing here?
It's so awesome. Did she park your car for you and stuff? She's like, I got you.
So she's great. Like, she's so funny. We text all the time. Like, she is fucking hilarious.
She's funny as shit.
I'm not going to lie. She's the
also
funniest person
brilliantly
ever.
Unfiltered. And that's all we'll say about that. But when you get her in a space where she's comfortable, she'll go in.
After the show, because, you know, shout out to her. She brought me out to her stadium shows. Can you believe that? I did a stadium show before an arena.
I know, it's crazy.
That was nuts. I'm not gonna lie.
And the stadium experience, I've done it a couple of times supporting artists, there's a DJ and whatever. It's so surreal because it's like your first couple of whatever, like the people in the back, it's like a pointless painting. Like you don't even really, it doesn't feel like it's moving.
Lights.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like it's moving. Isn't it crazy?
Little lights twinkling. And no, but it's crazy because you hear like all this, like the roar that you hear in a Taylor Swift show is like unmatched. Like I don't think I've ever heard that. And there's so many, like, so I tried to watch the show. Sorry, I'm jumping everywhere. I'm just so excited about this experience. Yeah. But I tried to watch the show and I was like, no one's going to notice me. They're paying attention to whatever, right? So I'm like standing there trying to be low key. And then like this one little 7-year-old girl like screams my name.
From the front row?
No, I was like chilling in the side.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like just trying to watch it in the crowd.
Yeah, but she wasn't, the girl was in the front row?
She was like passing by with like popcorn or some shit.
Oh, wow.
And she was like, Ice Spice. She was like, boy's a liar in her mood. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so fucking cute. And then a bunch of other little girls like just boop, appeared and they just like was like trying to take pictures. And I was like, all right, child, let me go back to the dressing room and wait till it's my turn to come out.
Yeah.
But her show was amazing and I'm just so grateful. Like 200,000 people, I think we performed for.
Yeah, wow. Over the course of those nights? That's crazy. That's insane. You've got this Doja Cat tour coming up.
Yes, I'm so excited. Yes.
When she announced that and who was rolling out, I was like, okay, that might be the tour of the year. For you to be going out there and playing on a stage like that with someone who I feel had in her own way, a similar experience. She came out and she was really counted out. People didn't really understand the level of talent, the level of commitment, of hard work, of discipline. She's proven that time and time again now. No one doubts it anymore. It's like she's lived 3 lives in one life, you know? So, what's your sort of relationship like with her at this point? Are you both just mutual fans of each other? Have you connected? Have you been able to share these experiences?
She's real sweet. She's real nice and like, we need to chill some more, you know what I'm saying? To really like vibe a little more. But I love her down. Like I'm really a fan of her. My little sister put me onto her in like 2018.
Wow.
And I remember watching her right before she actually like blew up like crazy.
Yeah.
And I was watching like her tour and like she did like a mini tour in like Europe or something.
Yeah.
And I was so inspired by her. And like just watching her, I was like, wow, like I just know she's gonna be big. And then like later that year, she was like the biggest thing on the planet.
Crazy. And then the scrutiny comes and that's it. I think that she's developed a pretty strong don't give a shit attitude as well.
Yeah, I think she's better than me at that.
I don't know. You seem pretty good. What about Europe and the rest of the world and everything else? I mean, watching you at the BET Awards, back when it was, I said to you before we got started, it was amazing how ready it just feels. It feels like a show. You and Riot just feel like you've got this incredible back and forth going on. And I just feel like, it's rare for artists to come out after a very quick period of time and look so arena ready. Is the idea of touring exciting to you? Traveling the world exciting? It is? I'm
so excited. If you would have asked me this like 3 months ago, I probably would have been like, no, I'm not ready.
Why?
Because I needed time. Like I said, I did a stadium with Taylor. So now I feel like an arena, like I'll be like, okay, like we got this, period. And plus the deluxe will be out by then. There's more music and like, I love my music and I'm starting to love performing because I'm more comfortable and building a stronger like armor around myself where I'm like, I truly don't care anymore. Like before when I would read performance reviews, I would be like, oh my God, they're chewing me down like bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? And now it's like when they say shit, I'm like, girl, bye. Like, it's like, these are bops. Like, this is for the baddies. If you're not into it, then...
What's this baddie thing about? Go on. I know you're going to... This is about the last time you were going to ask this question, but give me a new answer if you can. Where did it come from, truly? Like, what's the idea behind it, really, in terms of how it relates to your personality?
It's just confidence.
Confidence?
Yeah, it's like, when I say baddie, I'm thinking confidence.
And when it comes to, like, influencing people with that baddie attitude, who are you most trying to appeal to? Who are you most trying to inspire?
Honestly, small people. Like... the little people, young people. I have so many fans in high school and in middle school and even babies. Like I love seeing little babies dance to my music and stuff like that. And just my siblings and just myself. My music inspires myself. I'm not gonna lie.
And also that idea of being able to, like you say, manifest something into action. You know, how do you think you're gonna feel when an artist comes up to you and looks at you the way you looked at Nicki?
I feel like that's gonna be crazy. But I'm not gonna lie, some people kind of do that now.
Really?
A little bit, yeah. Like especially when I meet like such young fans and stuff. When I met Northwest, she was screaming at the top of her lungs, and I was like, "Girl, you're more famous than me."
I know.
Like what?
I know, but the thing is, like that. I don't. I mean, this is so complicated. I mean, I couldn't even possibly put myself into the mindset of a young person, let alone a young person who lives that life. But I mean, she wants to be live a normal kid's life, right?
Yeah.
And that means that she's going to hear your music and be a fucking fan. Like, just be a fan.
Yeah. She's great, though. Like, oh, she's so cute. But those are the fans and that age group and stuff like that that I really want to inspire because they're so innocent and they're so cute and they just want to have fun and they enjoy fun. I feel like you know, I'm not even going to put it in a category because a lot of older people do fuck with my music, but I feel like people become more judgmental as they grow, you know?
Where does it go from here for you? Like...
Only ways up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just going with the flow. Like, everything up until this point has been literally going with the flow.
In the sense of letting it happen.
Just letting it happen and just doing me and just trying to, like, not pay attention to the noise and da-da-da. But, yeah, just going with it.
Is there an album on the horizon? Like an album apart from a deluxe project?
There's an album on my mind, but it's not like, you know, in the studio yet. It's not like out or like in my phone or anything. Like I'm just thinking about it and I'm like really excited to do my album and start working on it. I feel like I'm gonna go to like a pretty country and stuff and try to get inspired and like record somewhere else, you know?
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you go to Italy?
I love Italy.
Why wouldn't you do that?
I love Italy.
You must be excited about this too. I mean, obviously, it's great that you two get to connect on the road and continue to work on the road and that it really is the two of you. I know it's moved into creative collaboration and direction and there's a real partnership here. But the idea of being able to just take a month out, you know, from tour. Where are we? I don't know. Germany? Should we go to Italy for 3 weeks? Say no to everything? Make some beats? Make some beats?
Yep, that's what we're going to do.
I have a feeling like this... We're not going to get many opportunities to do this for very long.
Oh, please. So many interviewers and stuff be trying to be like, well, it's the last time I'm going to see you. Like, no, I'll be back.
Everyone else says that? Really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Like, oh my God, yeah. They'd be like, Ebro was like, well, I'm never going to see you again. He texted me the other day, you're too famous now.
Did he?
Yeah. I'm like, bro, please. Like, no, I'm not. Like, you will see me again and we will chat again.
No, I'm looking forward to it when we do. I always do. I want to just finish but with a little more clarity on that point. I feel like you are getting to the era of no really fast.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you're getting to the era of like, what I say no to is way more important than what I say yes to.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on how you feel about that?
That's always been the case, though. I'm not going to lie. Like, I've always had that a little bit. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, less is more for me in a lot of different ways, I've realized. But, like, you can't be everywhere at once. So, like, you do got to say no a lot.
Who do you look up to in that regard? Who do you think gets it right?
Rihanna.
She gets it so right.
Yeah.
Because when she shows up, she's full Rihanna. And you get the full experience and she wants to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I only ever want you to come into the studio when you want to be here. I don't want you, and I know that's the case. That will already be the case. I'm really, really glad that we got a chance to meet at this point. It's so early. you've got so much music to make and so many miles to travel and so much to achieve. I'm really excited we're going to see and hear it all unfold, and I'm really, really glad that you're here making the music you make. I think now everyone's starting to get it right. And everyone's figuring out who you really are.
Thank you.